It's the National Football League on EA Sports. And we've got some history in this battle of AFL alumni. It's the Broncos and the Chiefs. All that and more coming up next.
From one of the loudest venues in the NFL, there's a look at Arrowhead Stadium here in Kansas City. Hello again, everybody. Alongside Charles Davis, I'm Brandon Gaudin. And, Charles, we look at this Chiefs ball club. They've been buoyed by getting 2 home games right at the start, and they come off a good victory in Week 1. Meanwhile, for the visiting Broncos, they were losers their last time out. They're going to try to get back in the win column, but obviously they're going to have to do that in a hostile environment.
And sometimes it actually works to your advantage.
The first game's out of the way. Time to buckle down for the long season ahead, and we're off in Week 2. And he'll be tackled just shy of the 25. So here are the Broncos now for their opening drive. And they are led out there by their mobile quarterback.
And there was a positive in last week's loss. No interceptions thrown by him. But he only threw 1 touchdown pass, and you know he wants that to improve. He might even consider that as part of the reason that they couldn't take the win last time out. I believe we'll see a more aggressive version of him this week whenever they're nearing the end zone.
It's a short one here, complete to his tight end. And past the 40 before he's out of bounds. An early statement on the game's first play. 18 yards and a first down. Now a handoff up the middle. Daly. And he works his way forward to pick up 4 yards there. Second down. The Broncos had 0-1 on the year following the loss in the opener. And what doubly stings for them, CD, they lose Week 1 at home, and now here on the road Week 2. So it's certainly not a must-win, but boy, you hate to start a season with 2 straight losses.
Yeah, because you sort of feel like you're playing from behind right from the beginning, and that can really mess with your confidence. Plus, if you get to 0-2, here come the articles, here comes the sports talk shows, pointing out the small percentage of teams that make the playoffs after they begin a season 0-2.
Call it a gain of 6 on the play, and it'll be second down. They'll send a receiver in motion left. Seven yards there and a first down. That's probably as simple of a throw as he'll have all game.
And good for everyone. Good for his completion percentage. Good for the receptions for the receivers. But you know how they work on that. They have footballs with no laces. So that as soon as you get the snap, you're just throwing the football. All right? You're not trying to find the laces and grip it a certain way. That takes time. Just get the ball and throw it. So that's how they practice it all the time now, too. I like the idea to mix it up from time to time because, let's face it, you can't be predictable. But the execution was a little lacking on this one, right? They might want to go back to the drawing board with that call.
Now a give, right side. Daly, and he'll lose yardage here. Back at the 41. It goes as a loss of 6. And now third down. Now Haskins. Keeps himself upright, but in the end, the pressure too great, and he goes down. Multiple players combined for their team's first sack of the game.
Like the footwork back there, and I thought he did a pretty good job of evading that first wave of players. Tried to buy a little extra time out of the pocket, but in the end, oh, that was a tough one.
Yeah, winds up getting buried for the loss. The Broncos send out their punter now. As the first drive of the game stalls out, he's on to punt. This is away, but boy, headed straight for the sidelines. And this one goes angling out of bounds, and it will be spotted inside the 30-yard line. So here are the Chiefs now as they get set for their opening drive. And a look at the man under center, now in his 8th season in the National Football League.
I tell you what, when he is on schedule for that week, secondaries take notice because you've got to stay alert back there on every snap. A truly powerful arm, one that's capable of challenging any level of the defense on any given play. That's why so many scouts preach arm talent when preparing for the NFL draft. A quarterback with arm strength to make every throw in the book, he's an asset to have in any offense.
Ball on the 35. Here comes 2nd and 5. The tight end in motion right. 2nd and 5. Looking middle, and that's complete. 6 yards to pick up, and that's a first down. Clock rolling as we hit the midway point of this first quarter. On first down, he'll drop to throw. Got a man, it's Rodriguez. So 5 yards here, 5 on the play, and it'll be 2nd down. Operating from the gun, Hart. Throwing right, and that's complete. 9 yards to pick up there, and it's a first down. Now a handoff to Rodriguez. Down to the 42, 2nd down. You look at this Bronco defense. They're a unit that struggled some against the run, no doubt, coming in 25th out of 32 teams.
I always think back to what my defensive coordinator in college used to tell me. Playing against the...
He'll be brought down by the Broncos. It's a sack. Multiple players combined for their team's first sack of the game. A few issues here on the offensive line. Apparently, he got sacked 5 times last week. They got to him here in the first quarter.
And I would think that running the ball would be paramount here because it's a different team they're facing, but they watch the film as well. So they'll take many of those same principles and try and apply them in this game to see if they fixed what was wrong with them in the last game.
Here's the Chiefs punter now, as he should be able to pin him back deep here with his first punt. And this one hits at the 3 and then bounds into the end zone for a touchback. So now the second drive offensively coming up for the Denver Broncos. Early on, you know, Charles, every game could be called a measuring stick game. But I think when it comes within your division like this, it's a measuring stick game with a little extra intrigue.
I would agree with that totally because all division games have a little extra to them. But I like where this game is situated because at this stage of the season, it has that little extra juice, but at the same time, it's not a make or break if this were, let's say, week 15, 16, somewhere in that neighborhood.
So one play, and they're already just shy of midfield. On play action, Haskins. And that is incomplete. He couldn't hold on through the contact. Brings up 2nd down. They run the counter. Daly. And he's fortunate to get anything from that. Give him a yard up to the 49. 3rd and 9 here. This defense for the Chiefs, terrific last week in the season-opening victory.
There's a little bit enlightening talking with the defensive coordinator about their performance last week because the feeling was that it was a good, solid performance. They did what they needed to do to get the job done and get the win, but definitely a few lapses that they're looking to correct.
So now 1st and 10 in Chiefs territory at the 41. Here's Haskins out of the gun. It's a short one here, complete to the tight end. And just 3 yards on the catch there. He couldn't get away. And that's going to bring up 2nd down. Now Haskins to throw it. And he's got his man in stride, complete. He'll be hit down at the 33, 5 yards on the play. We're scoreless after 1. Broncos football as we begin quarter number 2. As they've got it with a third down coming up. They'll come to the line needing only 2 yards to gain the first here. And he's going to have to eat this one as down he goes. That time, multiple defenders getting pressure, and it's a loss of 6, and nowhere to hide on that play.
No, there was not, because every exit door, that was surrounded. And I think that was supposed to be a bootleg, but he had no chance to get outside the pocket and try and make a play.
And his kick is good. He got every bit of that one, as it's good from 56 yards out. And the Broncos, the first to grace the scoreboard. It's 3-zip. Well, both teams kind of feeling each other out here. Now after 3 drives, we have a score with that field goal.
Yeah, they're still waiting for their breakout drive to come to them, all right? They're using the playbook well. They're looking for that extra section that says touchdowns instead of field goals. But they'll take the 3 for now and try and get set up for more later.
Kansas City taking the field for their second drive. This one a little slow to get cooking. Just a 3-0 scoreline as they begin with a 1st and 10. Throwing to start the drive. Hart firing quickly here, and that's complete. They'll wind up getting 7 on the play, and that'll bring up second down. Back to throw. Hart. And he will find his man on the end route. Complete. And brought down, but not before reaching the 45-yard line. And now a run with Rodriguez. And he's got it across midfield and into Denver territory. 9 yards is the pickup there, and they'll have a 2nd and 1.
A gain of 9 brings up 2nd and 1.
Here's Rodriguez. And he'll be taken down at the 44-yard line. 2 yards on the pickup, but that's all they needed to move the sticks. They'll run here with Rodriguez. And he's going to get stopped up quickly. Give him a yard down to the 43.
Holding offense.
They're backed up here with a 1st and 20 now after the holding penalty.
Let's go.
Looking to throw. Hart. Looking sideline, incomplete.
It's a tried-and-true formula, and I don't think it'll change for as long as we play football. If someone's trying to throw the ball and you can put pressure on them and make it tough, that's only going to help your defense.
Yeah, he's since being hurried. He got rid of it before taking the hit, but incomplete. And this time he's got the hook up. It's complete. They get 11 back on that one. It leads to 3rd down. Now play number 7 of this drive, but it's a tough 3rd and 9. Back to throw. Hart. Work in the middle of the field, and he's got a man complete. And this is going to be another 1st down as they'll make the tackle at the Broncos 14. That one nearly 30 yards, 29 officially.
What a drive this has been, just chewing up the yardage. And here's one of their best plays yet as they finally get down into the red zone and look to finish this off with 6.
Here's a 1st and 10 at the 14-yard line. They'll stick with the passing game as he looks to throw. Toward the end zone, but that's going to wind up incomplete.
A missed opportunity for an interception would have killed off a drive. They had a chance there to finish things off. Didn't get it done. I guess that's why a lot of those guys do not play offense.
Up the middle they go. It's Rodriguez. And he'll fight his way down right around the 12. They do get a couple, but they'll be left staring at a 3rd and 8 coming up.
A 2-yard pickup makes it 3rd and 8.
Looking to throw. Hart. Quick hitter here. It's complete. And they're going to mark him down short, maybe by about a yard, if that. That'll go for a gain of 7. And that's going to make it 4th down. And it's going to be batted down, and we'll go the other way with the football. The Chiefs tried it, but they're turned away on 4th down. And this 11-play drive is going to lead to nothing on the scoreboard. A chance to get some momentum here in the second quarter, getting their first trip into the red zone, but unable to get it across.
And if I'm the head coach, sure, you feel some disappointment, maybe a little bit of deflation there because you didn't get it in, but I'm going straight to rah-rah mode. All right, guys, we didn't get it this time. It's only the second quarter. We'll be back. Let's get it later on. I want to keep this team up. I don't want them to feel like they've let everyone down.
Positive.
Got to be positive in this situation. It's too early to think that you don't have a chance to win this game.
This 2nd and 4. Little underneath throw into the hands of Walker. And he'll be out of bounds right around the 20.
Ineligible receiver downfield. Offense.
So he gets too far beyond the line, and that's an easy call for the official.
Still 2nd down.
Now it's Haskins. Firing quickly, but it's incomplete.
I see the surprise in your face there, partner. That is a rare incompletion from him. He's been on point this entire game.
He has percentage completion-wise way up. Not that time. Looking to throw, Haskins. Got a man, and he hits him in stride. And he's brought down, but not before they get it across the 20-yard line. 17 yards for the Broncos there as they've got themselves a first down.
First down, Broncos.
Haskins will throw. He'll get that complete to Franklin. And they're able to get this one across the 35. Another nice gain. That's now 30 yards between those last two plays. Haskins going to throw again. And his throw is incomplete.
Offense was moving it a little bit, had them back on their heels, but they earned a brief pause by forcing the incompletion. That gives them a quick chance to regroup and try and mount a stand before they're backed up even further.
Now a handoff up the middle. Daly. And space tough to come by there, so he'll get maybe a yard to the 37. The Broncos on 3rd down. They've hit 2 for 4 thus far. This is 3rd and 9. Now it's Haskins. And the throw there going to be incomplete. The passing game not in sync here early. And now it's 4th down. So a couple of first downs on this drive, but it's looking like another empty possession.
And those empty possessions are certainly starting to pile up. So the adjustments that teams talk about all the time have to be taking place. They've got to analyze what's breaking down and figure a way to fix it.
It's just a 30-yard punt that time, no return. And it's Chiefs football, 1st and 10. Throwing to start the drive. Hart dancing. And he can't find anywhere to go with it. And he goes down. The defense rising to the challenge and setting him back on the sack.
Well, they've got the lead, but it's certainly not a big one. And how do you keep control of that lead? Certainly not by that last play there. They gave up a big sack on the first play of this drive. Now it's double the distance to the first down marker.
Second quarter, 2 minutes remain. 3-0 our score. Now then, after the sack, it'll be interesting to see what they have planned for 2nd and 23. And they'll send the slot in motion left. Operating from the gun. Hart, nowhere to go here. He lost the football. It's picked up by the Broncos. And a tough turnover there, as now they will have it at the 6-yard line, 1st and goal. And a defensive-minded coach loves to turn up the heat, turns it up there, it pays off.
And back in the good old days, those defensive-minded coaches just talked about intimidating teams, using force, right, beating them to the punch. In this case, they're talking about creating turnovers. That's all they preach, all game long, all practice long, every meeting. Get the football. That's what they want.
Following the turnover, it's Haskins. To the end zone, but knocked away and incomplete.
Partner, this is almost an unwinnable spot for a defense. They have to come right out for a 1st and goal trying to stop them. But let me hold on a second. Let me take that back real quick. They can win here if they force a field goal try. Still a long ways away from that happening, but that has to be what they're thinking right now.
Now, they'd really like to make the short field pay off. We'll see if they can, but this is 3rd and goal. Here's Haskins. And this is caught for a Bronco touchdown. A great effort there. His first touchdown of the new season. And the Broncos are able to extend their lead. Good throw there, and I don't want to blow it too out of proportion, but he looks a lot more comfortable in his second season.
You can tell he put the work in the offseason, and what I mean by that is understanding the playbook. Not just the plays and how to execute them, but how to do it against a variety of defenses. Also understands his team better, what they can and cannot do. You can see the confidence rising in him as he plays.
And up to about the 26-yard line, just across the 25. Here's the Kansas City offense now as they get set to take over. Charles, we'll see what they can do here. Not a ton of time left, but enough certainly to get points out of this drive, and they need them right now because they're trailing.
Yeah, and this is exactly why you practice a 2-minute drill all through camp and at least one practice each week before a game. A minute left, more than enough time to string a few completions together, reach the end zone, and then make that walk back to the locker room just a little more animated.
A quick throw knocked away. It's incomplete.
Quarterbacks work all the time on manipulating a defense with their eyes and their head movement. In this case, he just stared the receiver down. That allowed for excellent coverage, able to knock that one away.
On 3rd and short, they'll try and pick it up through the air. And this pass broken up. The contact well timed there, and now 4th down.
He did a fine job there of not hitting him before the ball arrived, and I've got to tell you, you can often mistime that play because of the angles of approach. When you're going to get him, sometimes you panic as well and think, I've got to be there right now. Instead, in this case, timed it perfectly and knocked it free.
The Broncos going to go on offense now late in this first half. And with a little under a minute to go, still time to try to put a drive together to add to their lead should they so choose. Now the Broncos are going to call the first of their timeouts as the clock stops here with 46 seconds remaining in the first half. They'll come up now 2nd and 4 from the 31. Here's Haskins to throw. It's a short one here, complete to his tight end. 4 yards the pickup, 1st down. Now the Broncos going to use the second of their timeouts. So that means they're down to 1 remaining here as we head toward halftime. Are things looking much rosier for them here in week 2. They work with the lead as they've got it 1st and 10. And it's a short one here, complete to the tight end. Now the Broncos will use their 3rd and final timeout. And with halftime on the horizon, they'll be out of timeouts from here forward. Out of the shotgun, Haskins over the middle into traffic, and that's complete. 6 yards the pickup, and that's a 1st down.
First down, Broncos.
Throwing again, here's Haskins. And that went to the right side and incomplete.
And not a common sight, at least on this drive. A momentary setback, though, for this passing game that has been moving well this series. Good thing for them, though. Still 2 more downs to connect and try and pick up another 1st down.
Final play of the half, it's Haskins. And this will be incomplete. So we have reached halftime with our score 10-0. As we'll head down to Orlando, that's where we find our man Jonathan Coachman at our EA Sports Halftime Report. Coach.
Okay, Brandon, we'll get you back to you and Charles in a bit. But first, it's time for a trip around the NFL following an eventful opening weekend.
Well, everyone's eager to resume play here in this Week 2 contest, so we push right through halftime and back at it for the start of quarter 3. And we welcome you back now. Alongside Charles Davis, I'm Brandon Gaudin, getting set for quarter number 3 here. And a decent return out to the 27-yard line. The Chiefs offense now making their way back onto the field. And they have had their problems moving the ball through the air as we take you through some of the action from earlier. This secondary has played about as well as you can. Many times they've left this quarterback with nowhere to go with the football. The Chiefs offense about set to begin this drive. And they're still very much in this game, although they do trail. What's the game plan, Charles, for the second half?
It might be a little counterintuitive because most people will think losing equals passing the ball more, but I'd establish the running game. They kind of went away from it in the first half. I think if they get back in balance, it'll help them when they put the ball back in the air.
They'll keep it on the ground. Rodriguez. And they get him down, but not before he takes it across the 40-yard line. An 11-yard pickup, and it's enough for a Chiefs first down. That one definitely helps as they try to push the ball down the field here, trailing early in the third quarter.
And even though they're trailing, not abandoning the running game. People may call it an adjustment. I think it's just much more sticking to what works for you and continuing to have faith in it, and the running game is starting to pay off.
2 yards the loss, 2nd and 12.
But if these guys are going to chop into that deficit, they're going to have to do a much better job in the run game. Caught behind the line of scrimmage, no yardage to be found.
Now they'll switch it up here and look to throw. And this one nearly intercepted. Boy, that would have been a great time for their first pick. But instead, it's third down. We'll see what they have drawn up here. A little bit behind the line. 12 yards needed to gain a first down. And the Broncos get there and take him down. Looks like a 9-yard loss. And it also brings up fourth.
I'd say it's not panic time yet, but let's be honest about it. Empty possession here, not what you're looking for when you're down a couple of scores.
Absolutely not. Trying to start the second half off on the right foot. Unfortunately, going to give the ball up. Here's the Chiefs punter now, as he's on here to punt it away. It's a 42-yard punt. They keep him to just a yard on the return. And the Broncos take over. First down and 10. So here are the Broncos to take over on offense. And they've got the lead right now here, trying to erase the memory of the loss last week to the Raiders. From the gun, it's Haskins. And it's a short one here, complete to his tight end. And that's good for a gain of 6, and it's second down. Back to throw. Haskins, little underneath throw into the hands of Walker. It'll be a gain of just a yard, and now it's 3rd and 3. Coming up here looking for 3 yards to pick up the first. And they'll let their fullback try and push the pile. And he will have first down yardage as he's brought down at the 41. Give him 7 yards on the play as they do pick up the third down conversion. They'll look to throw now on first down. And a quick throw here, that's complete. And he's going to get a solid gain of 9 before being brought down. 2nd and right at a yard. 2nd down and a little more than a yard here. And they'll send the tight end in motion. From midfield now, Haskins firing quickly here, and that's complete. And he'll be brought down with a first down as the tackle's made at the Chiefs' 35. 15 yards there on the catch and run.
And now we get into the psychology of the whole thing, because a lot of teams with a 2-score lead in the third quarter, they almost become defensive with their offense, just playing not to lose. I think with this team, you got to figure at this point, this is a great spot for them to go into attack mode, really try and put the hammer down and finish this one off.
They go play action now. Haskins under a heavy rush, and down he goes. The safety blitz turns out to be a great call defensively as they sack him for a loss of 9. And they need to work to at least get some of this yardage back after the sack. 2nd and 19. Off the play fake. Here's Haskins. A throw out wide, going to be incomplete.
Well, partner, guaranteed they approach this play with the idea of making up ground to make third down manageable. Unfortunately, with that incompletion, right back where they started on the last snap. Now they need a big third down play in order to pick up the yardage needed.
And he knocks the ball away, and it falls incomplete.
That could have been a huge play, but give the defender credit. Stayed calm, stayed collected, and kept himself in a position to make a play on the ball without a penalty.
And here's a very low-line drive, almost whiffed on it. No returning this one. It sails out of bounds, and they'll spot it right at the 20. And now here comes Kansas City. And, Charles, they're certainly still right in this game, but they need that offense to wake up and in a hurry.
Yeah, I like the way you put it. They certainly did seem to sleepwalk a bit in the first half. Now that their defense has done its job, it's their turn now to go out and try and get some points.
And that, nearly picked off. Well, it would have been a great time for their first interception of the game. Instead, it's second down. Looking to throw. Hart over the middle, and it's incomplete.
You get the sense that they're saying we're not playing up to what we're capable of, and we're deep enough into the game that the early jitters are long gone, that they should now have some sense of continuity and be able to make some of these plays that they have not been doing so far.
And he comes back with one complete. And he'll be stopped short of the first down as they rally to tackle him at about the 28. That'll give him 8 that time. And it'll be fourth down. Here's the Chiefs punter now, as he'll punt it away for the 4th time today. And no return on this one as the fair catch is signaled for and taken. So a change of possession here on the punt. And it will be 1st and 10 as they take over. They'll send a receiver in motion to the right. Play action. Haskins. Throw left side complete. That's Franklin. And he takes us up to the 40-yard line before being corralled. Solid way to start the drive. 13 yards, picking up the first. 1st and 10, and they've got 3 tight ends out there. A jumbo package look. Back to throw. Haskins. It's a short one here, complete to the tight end. This will be stopped about 2 yards shy of the marker. 8-yard gain, 2nd and 2. Now a 2nd and 2. And they'll send the tight end in motion here. From just shy of midfield, Haskins. Quick hitter here, it's complete. That'll give him 60 yards receiving now as he's got a first down.
A gain of 9 yards. And the Broncos first down.
They go play action with Haskins. And he's taken down. A Chiefs sack. That one will set him back nearly 10 yards here on first down on the sack.
This is a little hard for me to compute because I'm watching sack after sack happen, but somehow they're still behind in the game. I would expect all of this defensive pressure to translate to them taking a lead, and thus far, it hasn't happened. Time's winding down. They don't want to waste this type of performance from these ace pass rushers.
After the sack, it's 2nd and 19, and the road gets a bit tougher from here. Looking to throw. Haskins. That's taken in by Franklin. And this time he's able to take it down to the 42. They get 11 back on that one. It leads to 3rd down. The first down line at the 34 here on 3rd down. Little underneath throw into the hands of Walker. And he'll be brought down with a first down as the tackle's made at the Chiefs' 31-yard line. Broncos on the move here a bit. Nice plays in succession back-to-back. Line of scrimmage, the 31 now on 1st and 10. And movement by one of the Broncos up front, and in comes the flag.
False start, offense.
The false start backs him up 5, 1st and 15. Now Haskins. And a quick throw here, that's complete. And he'll be brought down at the 27-yard line. And they're not going to get to the line to run another play. So we will switch ends as the third quarter has come to a close. We'll return with more after this break. You're watching the NFL on EA Sports. We're back now in KC. It's Bronco football, and they also have the lead here as we get set for the fourth. From the 27, Haskins, and he fires one incomplete.
Right now, the story of this game continuing to be the defenses, because the offenses, they're finding it difficult to establish any rhythm whatsoever.
I like how you come to us in praise of defense, Brandon, because that's exactly right. That was an incompletion forced there, but we've seen it throughout this game. Both of these defense coordinators, they're a step ahead of their offensive counterparts.
They're able to convert on third down, and that sets up a 1st and goal.
Partner, I like that they're staying aggressive on offense, because to me, this drive is what is known as a put-away drive. You score here, that might put this one to bed. I like the fact that they're playing with confidence and not playing with fear.
They'll try and run for it on 1st and goal. And this is going to result in losing yardage. They're driven back to the 8-yard line. A loss of 2 there, 2nd down. And they'll give him another shot here on the ground. And he's going to be met at the line of scrimmage and taken down. It'll go as no gain on the play, and now they're looking at a 3rd and goal. On 3rd and goal, Haskins.
To the sideline and incomplete.
Well, so a drive that spans all that time, and yet you may only come away with 3 points here.
Well, your defense, all right, they actually like these long drives. They get to rest over on the sidelines for a while. But when you're not finishing with points in terms of touchdowns, that's frustrating. They've got to figure out how to close out these long drives and get 6s instead of 3s.
So that maybe not a knockout blow, but I suppose certainly every little bit helps when you're trying to salt one away in the 4th.
Well, the possibility of being beaten by 2 late touchdowns or at least sent to overtime does exist. But time, definitely a big factor at this stage of the game, is in their favor.
So now here are the Chiefs as their offense makes their way back out onto the field.
And you're still in this game. I mean, yeah, you haven't scored. Offense obviously has struggled, but you're only 2 scores down, so all hope not lost.
Not at all, because we're talking about the NFL, and teams can score fast in this league. Quick strikes, you're right back in it. You're exactly right. Keeping hope alive.
A misconnection there. He's hit on just 50% of his passes thus far. That's not where you want to be.
Now you see the evolution of the game. You go back to the quarterbacks of old, 50% would be terrific because they threw the ball downfield almost every time they threw it. Now with the short passing game, you should be above 60% just to be in the average range.
The Chiefs on 3rd down. They've had their troubles. Just 1 for 6. This is 3rd and 10. Now a shotgun snap as they'll look to throw. And that is incomplete.
Well, if you're going to give out a little applause on that play, it has to go to the defense. More good work by them. They've taken away the passing lanes all game long, and you can see the frustration that it's causing because he just about threw that one into the 1st row.
A 46-yard punt, 4-yard return. And out will come the offense as they take over.
The Broncos offense and their quarterback headed out for this next possession. And he has been masterful so far in leading this offense. He's kept the mistakes to a minimum. He's been on point with his passes. And he's generally been 1 step ahead of this defense all game long. He'll get it across the 35. It'll be 2nd down.
And for the defense, this is a spot where you don't want to totally sell out to stop the run, but you do have a pretty good idea of what you're going to see. And that's good work right there to keep them in check on that 1st down carry.
They're still about 3 yards shy of a 1st as the 4-yard pickup brings it to 3rd down. Back to throw. Haskins.
And this pass broken up. Excellent coverage there on third down, as that was not an easy one to hold on to.
Good clean play. No flags coming out of the pocket of the officials. Turns into an incompletion, and that should get them off the field with a 3-and-out.
On fourth down, the punt team is on as this is sent away. No return, but it goes down as just a punt of 31 yards.
And they will take over 1st and 10. KC's offense ready to take over. Their defense was able to force the punt. That's the good news, but this is still a 2-score game, and they need points on this drive and in a relatively quick manner. That one tipped, and it's incomplete. But good hands there defensively, and it's 2nd down.
Looking to throw. Hart. All that gets him is just a yard, and now it's 3rd down.
Well, it certainly appears to me that the defensive guys are starting to look a little bit tired, while he still has some fresh legs. Not the biggest gain we've seen on a scramble, but still, some positive yardage on a play that initially looked like a sure win for the defense.
Firing quickly here, and that's complete.
And he will have a Chiefs 1st down as they're able to get the 3rd down conversion.
Fourth quarter, every drive's so critical, and you figure may only get one more shot after this, so a touchdown's imperative on this drive.
It is, but you also have to think to yourself in play calling, don't hold anything back. Don't save it for the second touchdown. You got the first one for the second one to even matter.
Back to throw now on 1st down. Quick hitter here, it's complete. Call it a gain of 3 on the play, and it's 2nd down.
Brings up 2nd and 7 at the 42-yard line.
Back to throw. Hart. And a quick throw here, that's complete. And he'll take this to the other side of midfield before going out of bounds.
Work to do here to avoid falling to 1-1, but this is 1st and 10 right now.
Again, he'll drop to throw. And they'll wind up getting this to the 37. Gain of 9.
So from the 37, here's 2nd and a yard.
Slot man moves right. Back to throw again. Over the middle, it's complete. It'll be a pickup of 4, good enough to earn him yet another 1st down.
First down. 1st and 10 at the 33-yard line.
They'll look to throw again.
Got a man, it's Rodriguez.
It'll be a gain of 5, and that will bring up 2nd down. They'll stick with the passing game as he looks to throw. Nowhere to go here. He lost the football.
Oh, and one of the linemen on the other side has got it. So danger averted for the moment, but now here's a 3rd and long.
And that is incomplete. Oh, he had a defender right there with him to force that to the ground. And 4th down now coming up. And they're indeed going to go for it here on 4th down. So trailing here in the last quarter, let's see how this plays out. And he's going to have the connection to Foster. And he's not able to get away. He is stopped well short of a 1st down. The Chiefs tried it, but they're turned away on 4th down. And the Broncos will take over on downs. So now with a 2-minute warning coming up fast, that puts a mammoth dent in their comeback hopes.
I like how you phrased it. It's a dent because there's still opportunity. They've got to get the ball back on defense, obviously twice. But guess what? This thing is not close to being over. They need to go ahead and play it out.
Not over. As you said, 2-score game still.
Now a fake on the jet sweep, and they'll instead run up the middle.
And he'll rumble for about 5, up close to the 40.
2nd and 5.
They'll bring a receiver in motion right.
He'll get an opportunity with it on the touch pass.
And he's going to have to protect the football and take his lumps here at this stage of the game as they stop him behind the line. So it's Bronco football as we get you reset here. They've got a third down now as they look for one more first down to help salt this one away. Up the middle they go. Daly. And they'll get him down at about the 37, well short of the first. And now right out of the 2-minute break, we'll get a timeout used defensively with 1:56 to go. So they're forced to punt on fourth as this one's away. It'll wind up just a 35-yard punt, no return. So the Chiefs now down by 13, 1:51 on the clock. They've yet to score all game long, but now they need to do so twice in short order to have a shot. Oh, he's got a man wide open, complete. From the midfield stripe, they'll look to throw.
Well, they've certainly had trouble unlocking this defense through 3.5 quarters, so I don't expect it to get any easier now. You know they're going to be sitting back and waiting on everything, and they force an incompletion there.
He'll try again with the arm here on second down. And he bats it away, and it falls down incomplete.
That was one they needed to connect on. They're down, but not quite out. So you have to figure, with under 2 minutes to play, they need to hit on something in very short order.
Pass taken in by his big tight end.
And this is going to be another first down as they'll make the tackle at the Broncos' 36. Now a handoff up the middle. It's Rodriguez.
Here comes second down at 5.
Looking to throw. Hart. Wide open receiver complete. And he's brought down, but not before he reaches the 8-yard line. The Chiefs quickly now going to use the last of their timeouts, as the clock's going to stop with 47 seconds to go in the fourth.
Here's first and goal.
Out of the gun, they'll look to throw.
The throw here right sideline falls incomplete.
Whew, that's certainly not the worst thing. It stops the clock and lets your offense catch its breath and lets us exhale a little bit. Now I expect them to call a couple plays in the huddle so they're ready if a tackle happens inbounds.
And this is caught now for a late touchdown. So hold everything here. This one's not over yet. Okay, game on. Don't go anywhere yet. You got a one-score game now. Probably going to rely on the onside kick coming up.
Yeah, they have to. It's not a high percentage play, but it's better than not having a chance at all. And that's when you put your leapers and your flyers on one side, get that high hop, and hope that one of the guys can come up with it.
And on the other side, you get that hands team ready.
No doubt about it.
And now remember, all touchdowns are reviewed, and in a tight game like this, they're going to take a good long look at it. They're taking a peek at whether or not those feet were in bounds, and obviously a big call here in the end zone.
And not just the feet. How about the hands? How's the ball possessed?
So they called it a touchdown originally, and this will stay a touchdown after the video review, so they had it right.
Extra point right down the middle. And now things get a bit more interesting here in this fourth quarter. So that one, an 8-play drive. It spans 75 yards. And it winds up with the Chiefs hitting pay dirt. And this is going to be recovered by the hands team. And that should just about put a capper on this one. They had to go for it with no timeouts remaining, though now. This one's as good as over.
They gave it an effort. They tried their best, did everything they could to try and get the ball on the onside kick. You're exactly right. They had to try it. It was their only option. And now this game is done. Just take it, kneel, and call it a day.
So this one will wind up a Denver victory. And, of course, this is a win they're going to hang their hat on. They go on the road and defeat the defending Super Bowl champs.
Partner, they came